Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me. My name is Paula, also known as the Snail Garden on social media. I'll put links in the description box below where you can find me. This is my February vlog. I will insert some clips of what I've been up to on our walks, and then I will come back and share some of my sewing, knitting and crochet projects. Hello again. I have recently been bitten by the cross-stitch bug in quite a big way. I haven't cross-stitched in probably 25 years until recently. And I've been watching lots of FlossTube, which has been very inspiring and led me down quite a few rabbit holes. And I decided I wanted to stitch some Valentine projects and display them in a bowl on our dining table. I used to always, sorry, knocked you. I used to always decorate seasonally when the children were younger, but in recent years I seem to have gotten out of the habit. So it was quite nice to get back into it. I started off by stitching some of the free designs from Hands On Design. Kathy puts out a free anniversary pattern each year at about the same time as Valentine's Day to celebrate her wedding anniversary, and I thought that these would be lovely to turn into little lavender sachets. And this is some of the fabric I had dyed. It's 32 count Zweigart linen, and I stitched 2/2. The colours are Weeks Dye Works, Sanguine and Cattail. I also dyed this piece of twill ribbon to match, and I had this fabric already in my stash from making a project bag for knitting. And one of the challenges of this is to use all things I already have in my stash. This is filled with a mixture of fibre fill and lavender, so when it's not Valentine's Day, I'm going to put them away in some drawers so they can be useful. The one that started it was this one. Kathy puts all these designs on her blog, but also if you sign up for her newsletter, you will get the yearly one. And this is stitched in Sanguine and Cattail by Weeks Dye Works and Classic Colourworks Old Blue Jeans. And I had these little buttons as well. Again, this is my 32 count hand dyed linen. So I love how I've got these different colorations in it. I'm going to try and repeat that. And I had this bee fabric that I backed it with, and this one is full of lavender. It's all my own homegrown lavender, it smells lovely. The third one of Kathy's was this one, and this is this year's design. And I have stitched it in, just look at my notes, did I make a note? Yes, I did. This is Picket Fence. It was designed to be stitched in DMC white, but the coverage didn't seem to work for me, so I've changed it to Gentle Arts Picket Fence. And this is a tiny piece of uniform blue that was left over from another project that I will show you in a moment. I've been watching The Housewives of Cross Stitch, and so I was inspired to use this piece of tartan ribbon and it's a little ceramic button. As I said, I'm using all stash. This little ceramic button was one of 3 that I bought actually the week that my husband and I got engaged. I've had that in stash a long while. That's a deep dive, that one was. So those are the 3 designs by Kathy of Hands On Design. And there are some more, but I will do those another year. And my 4th Valentine stitch was this free design put out by Laurie of La-Di-Da. Again, it's my own 32 count Belfast linen that I've hand dyed. And the colours are uniform blue again. Now I have another skein of uniform blue which has a lot more blue in it. This one was quite black. And I've used, trying to see what colour I used, Loganberry and Boysenberry. One has been for the P and the S, which are our initials, and the 9. And I was going to do the hearts the same, but then I realised that the hearts were next to the P and the S, and they needed to be a different colour really. And the original design had the numbers 1 to 0, but I've changed them to 1986 because I met my husband in the September of 1986. And this is backed with this pretty fan fabric. This was left over from some bunting I made when it was my daughter's 18th birthday. Again, deep stash, since she'll be 29 this year. And this is, I believe it's licorice, the colour, the chenille by Lady Dots. Lady Dot Creates. I really like that. I'll be using a lot more of that, I think, in the future. And they're in this bowl with little crochet hearts that I made quite a number of years ago. And I will link to, this is another free pattern on a blog, I will link to that pattern. I can't offhand remember. I've got another almost finished, and this is Merry and Minty by Brenda Gervais. I had finished the cross stitch panel, but I hadn't actually stitched it together. Deep stash dive again. This is a little staff patchwork fabric I had, which I thought quite closely matched the linen. I believe this is 30, just check. I've had to make lists of everything. 36 count. Yeah, this is 36 count Edinburgh linen. And I stitched all of this 2/2, again because I wanted good coverage with the white. And these are colonial knots. I don't know that they're going to show up very well. They stand proud of the fabric more than a French knot. And I filled this with walnut shells. I have got a little candy cane that I want to put on here, but I haven't got around to that part yet. I have one more cross stitch project on the go that I've worked on this month, and This is a 12-part SAL that is run by Thea on Victoria Sampler Company, and it's on their Facebook page. This is on some 32 count linen that I have hand dyed myself in shades of pale grey and hints of pink to it. And I've changed January's because there was a house here, and I changed it to a birdhouse inspired by somebody else's block. And I've slightly changed my snowman so he has a little bird on his hand. I tried to make these look like blue tits, but they had to have a grey back because they didn't show up very well. And the change I've made on this one is I turned these into robins. I believe they were cardinals. And also, both the skaters, my favourite colour is blue, so I'm wearing blue. And my husband's favourite colour is green, so he's wearing green. He hasn't noticed yet I've given him his grey hair. Not that, I mean, I've made these look like us, but not that I've ever been ice skating. I often tell my husband he's on thin ice, but we've never been ice skating. I have also dyed some other linen. This is a very pale, sort of sandy brown with some hints of red to it. This I've dyed to do some more Valentine stitching at some point, because there's some nice primitive Valentine stitching I want to do. That's 32 count linen again. And I experimented with some blues. It's slightly paler than it's coming out here. The light is making it darker. This is blue and brown. It's probably a bit closer to what it is, that colour. These colours remind me of an antique map. And this one, which is 2 or 3 tones of blue, I've 3 I believe I put in this one. I don't have any actual plans for these, I just wanted to play with the blues. I am wondering whether to put some linen in my Etsy shop, Eva Faith. So let me know if anyone's interested in that idea. And that's all the cross stitching I've done at the moment. I'm going back to this one. The colours are my own choice. The patterns are coloured patterns, but you're not giving any colour choices. It's up to you. And I found it quite difficult to choose because obviously there are going to be 12 of them. So I went through my stash again and I chose a rainbow of colours, really, a few shades of each. And these are all looking rather ratty. Because obviously I've been pulling out from these. These are all some very ancient anchor threads and some slightly newer DMC threads that I had for other projects. And I made this before Christmas. I was on wintry projects, so that's why they're wintry. And to move that out of the way. And I've made these floss drops out of cardstock that I had. All the pretty Valentine's roses and hearts. And when I choose the colours for each month, I'm putting them on this rose floss ring, so I don't get in a muddle. Again, I think I might put some of these in my shop. I have some floss rings in there already. And I think that was all I was going to say about the cross stitch. If you watched last month, you'll notice there is a slight improvement on this one. This was my Advent that I was going to do, and I only got as far as day 3, I believe, back in December, because it took me a long while to do, really. This is the Advent Wreath of 2019 by Little Box of Crochet. So I had a blank there, and I had done the base and the pine fronds, and I had just started on the mistletoe. As you can see, I finished the mistletoe and attached it, and I've also finished the ivy leaves. And what I do is I starch all of mine before I put them on, and then they will get stitched into the different places. I've set myself the task of finishing that before December of this year. So it's up there every vlog until it's finished, maybe summertime. Another task I've given myself is to finish all my, no, let me correct myself there before someone holds me to that. You know who I'm talking about from a previous conversation. I'm going to finish most of my knitting projects before I cast anything else on, because they've got a little out of control. Now, I did say I was going to have this finished by the end of February. These are the Iced Sugar Cookie Socks by Danny George of Little Bobbins. And Danny has taught me to knit socks, something I said I would never do, but these are the 3rd design of hers that I'm knitting. And I would have finished them yesterday if we hadn't have gone for a lovely walk. But the sun was shining, so we went out. I am just at a colour change for the toe. Now, these are knit in Dusty Dimples fingering weight yarn, and this is Eye of the Tiger, and this is Aesthete, which I'm using for the toes, and there's a little band there, and the bobbles are in a commercial sock yarn, which I cannot remember because I have lost the label for that. I knit Magic Loop because I find it much easier. I don't get a ladder like I can get a ladder down the change with DPNs. And when I'm not using them, I keep the needles in one of my needle cozies. And these are Chiagu needles, which are my favourite to use. Next month I'm going to finish Helen Stewart's Curious Handmaids Stillness Shawl. The only 2 projects I don't plan on finishing this year are 2 blankets that I'm knitting. One is the Habitation Throw by Helen Stewart, which I'm making a lot bigger. And the other one is the Northeasterly blanket. I think those are all the projects that I've been working on. I hope to have the March block finished by the next time we speak, and the Stillness Shawl, and hopefully I will have the ivy leaves on here and the next part of the design. And I haven't worked on my Winter at Rose Manor this month, but hopefully I will have made some progress on that to show you. Thank you for watching, and I hope you stay safe and well, and I'll see you in a month's time. Bye.